Welcome, gals and pals, to a conversation at the bar. And we have a very special guest today. But first of all, it's me, Andy, again. And coming at you live is
Huh?
Sherry,
Oh,
Rev.
hi, I'm Rev. How you doing?
And here's our special guest. He's always classy and very talented, Elizabeth Sick.
Hi, it's wonderful to be here. And hoping that all this goes lovely since this is a live chat. I actually have not done a live actual, as in like out on the airwaves, one of these before. I've done any number of taped situations. But so, hey, the wilder the better, I guess,
Why not? Let me air it. I like it. I like it. Yeah, this is a fairly new process for us too. I think we're getting our groove on and we're having a good time with it. So welcome. We're very happy you're here.
And as I said a moment ago when we were doing the prelims, between the three of us, I'm very honored that you are having me on, and it will be had after we're done. But yeah, very, very nice. I've heard about both you gals, and the wonderful work that you do with this, and what great personalities you have. So I'm really pleased to be with you with my martini, because it is cocktail hour.
Martini or a gin martini?
That's a gin martini. Can't you tell? It's a gin martini. It is my current favorite is Tanqueray brand. I'm not being paid much by them for mentioning that. Just a few thousand. It's just pocket change. But it's Tanqueray and a little bit of Noilly Prat dry vermouth, which is our favorite in this household, and then Costco stuffed olives.
Nice. Those are good.
Too. Yeah, they are. They're fine. They're quite
I've never
fine.
seen so many of them in a drink. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
If it were me, I try to put as many olives in a drink as I can cram in there. It doesn't matter. And if it's a sweeter drink, then like if we were having sex with Jennifer, then I'd jam 15 or 20 cherries in the bottom.
You are so
I like food with my drinks.
Speaking of gin, Fletcher was on our show, and she's coming back.
I was just thinking about her with all the gin talk.
She introduced us to a gin called Bulldog, and of course, I was a die-hard Boodles gin fan. Like, I couldn't drink anything else. She goes, give Bulldog a try. It's great. I'm like, okay. So I went out and got a bottle, and it is delicious. I am converted.
Really? Okay, well, and we're talking heavy juniper, right? Because that's my thing.
Yeah, I can really taste the juniper. Yeah.
And what do you take with it? Your white vermouth. What do you do, or do you just do it straight?
It's nothing special. It's I don't know, martini rum. It's nothing special.
All right. Okay. I might recommend Noilly Prat, but at any rate. Oh, and by the way, for our viewers here who can see me, I'm actually not in my dining room at home, but I'm flying my Gulfstream 5, which explains the headset. I thought that it doesn't look. They were laughing. It doesn't look like it's going over. But no. But see, I have a really nice laptop that I was using for this, and I wanted to use, and I am using, but I didn't come across very well on the built-in microphone. I won't say the brand name. So we have this USB headset, which I acquired when I was doing webinars for Writer's Digest. I haven't been doing those for a while, but I probably will do some more of those again.
That's one of the things that I do want to talk about is the work that you do with writers in addition. But let's talk about the other reason that we're here first. Go ahead, Andy, because Andy does the stuff.
Okay.
I just sit here and drink.
There's not much stuff to do. It's just one of those. You have a new book out, and we're wanting you to get the listeners excited about it. So you have a copy there because I saw you put it up a few minutes ago. Would you mind putting it up again?
Yes. I'm prepared for show and tell. This is the book. This is Left Field.
Yep.
The long-awaited book 5 in the Lillian Bird crime series.
About time, from what I hear.
Now I know it's been like almost 10 years. It's shameful, but I had a lot going on in the betwixt and between. Were you going to go on?
I will. I will go on. I'm going to jump in.
Are you jumping in?
I'm going to jump in.
All right, we're jumping in.
So, Many, many, many years ago, long before I met Andy and we started doing this crazy show, I picked up your first book, which now the name of it is escaping me because all I can think of is Holy Hell. Oh, no, it is.
Holy Hell, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So I picked up Holy Hell. I found it in a bookstore. It was before I got into ebooks, just to tell you how long ago that was for everybody.
Oh my God.
Knows. Yeah.
That's when we rode our dinosaurs to the bookstores and so forth.
It is, yes. So I found this book, and excuse my dogs. I can't have a show without the dogs going crazy. So I picked up this book, and I read it, and I loved it, and I wrote to you, and I told you how much I enjoyed the book, and you wrote back, and you sent me some signed...
book plates.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so...
Wow.
I just wanted to share that story because I love that book so much.
Oh.
There was just the Lillian Bird series. I think I read the first two, Scared Straight, or no, Straight.
Damn Straight.
Damn Straight. It was the second one, and they were just very, very well written, and it wasn't a romance. Yeah,
these are the first editions of those two.
Yes, those are the ones I had. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was. It was one of the when I was first starting to get back into lesbian fiction after taking many years off. It was a great way to start up again, and so thank you for sending me my book plates.
Well, you're very kind, Rev. That's nice of you to remind me of that. My goodness, it's really cool. I could probably go back and dig up those emails.
Yeah, it was. They were very good, and I remember being a little bit heartbroken when you decided to take a hiatus from Lillian Bird and write the other series. But I kind of wanted you just to tell us about all the stuff that you have written, the different series, the two different series. You just have those two, right?
Yes, the two series, and then an instructional title with Writer's Digest books.
Right, and which I picked up today, actually. I'm gonna. Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Fabulous.
So, go ahead, take it off. Don't take it off. Maybe not until the second drink.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, I gave myself the big glass tonight. Well, anyway, and the real secret is I don't drink all that much. When I was teaching at the Lambda retreat, Lambda Literary Review does a retreat every year, and I was honored to be on the faculty of it this past year in 2014. And all I had to do was show up with a mug that had some alcohol in it, and everybody thought I was a lush, and so I really kind of had to. Then I had to be seen jogging every morning and stuff like that, But the secret really is to just take very small sips. Anyway, so my books. I have 8 novels out there at this point. Left Field, the one I showed a moment ago, the most recent one. Yeah, I got started. I got started loving books as a bookseller, and as a kid that liked to read and was good with words, or reasonably good at any rate. And it was kind of like for a number of years, I knew I really should be writing longer works. I had written in college, starting in college, I wrote some short stories and so forth, and poems, and took a poetry class with Diane Wachowski, who's one of whose books, Dancing on the Grave of a Son of a Bitch, I thought was one of the best titles ever for a poetry book. She was on the faculty at Michigan State when I was there. By the way, if I start to cut out, or my volume starts to go down, let me know, if you please. Okay. But if I get off on a tangent, I'll just let it go, Anyway, because it's going to happen, as it has happened already, obviously. So I had an idea. So I worked at a bookstore. I started working for these two guys named Tom and Louis Borders in Michigan, who had just opened their second store. And I thought, oh, wow, that's cool. I loved Borders in Ann Arbor. I used to call in sick and go to Borders sometimes, when I worked at this stultifying job in a bank. So when I saw that they opened up, when I saw another life. Do you?
Yeah. Andy's line of business.
Well, it might not be stultifying for Andy, is it?
Yeah, it can be.
Well, there you go. But you have the consciousness to be subversive, though, I think, and that's very valuable these days. Anyway, so I was working. So yes, as I called in sick of the bank. You know, the thing that you can't do when you're doing one of these is think about people listening and watching. You cannot do that. You know, you have to stay on.
I'll tell you, nobody's watching.
You're talking to us.
Yeah, nobody's watching.
Oh, okay,
nobody's
good.
here.
Thank goodness that, you know. Oh, and what about profanity?
Go ahead.
It's
You can let it
I
rip.
can say the F word really
Whatever
loud.
you want.
Okay. So I started working at this bookstore, and it was fabulous, a fabulous place to work, and fabulous place to learn about. I mean, I really consider it a continuing education for me to work at Borders, and then I wound up having a 10-year career with them, even though I had gone back to college, get my master's. I thought I'd be a professor, and I found that wasn't going to suit me. So, and at the same time, I found that I had a talent for management. And so I was promoted through the ranks at Borders, eventually becoming the regional director for the West Coast, the first one. And I opened all the first stores in the West Coast, including Alaska, Hawaii, the whole thing. And that was quite a challenge. And the more I got promoted and the more I worked in that executive position with Borders, the more I realized, man, there's this book that I really have to. It's in me, and I really need to get it out. I had made a start on it when I was a floor clerk in the suburban Detroit store where I lived and worked. But you know, I had this epiphany riding in an elevator, and I think I wrote about this. I've written about this and spoken of it before. But you know, I'm going to some goddamn meeting, and you know, for the umpteenth time, and I was like, I thought about this little book that I'd started and was tinkering around with, and I thought, I can think of 10 ways to make that book better, but I don't have 10 damn minutes to do it in, because you know, at a certain level they own you body and soul pretty much, and you're, you know, in your hotel room at 11:30 at night doing emails, and you know, you're always on. So that was the time when I said I gotta quit, and I gotta get this book written and see about launching a career as an author. So that's what I did. I might add that I had the company had gone public, and there were these stock options that executives, and actually everyone all the way up and down the line were entitled to. The executives got more, and I was only vested in some of them. And at the time that I signed my exit papers, the value of those stock options that I left on the table was $300,000.
Oh shit!
And yes, that was as committed as I felt about what I was going to do. However, later it did give me some sleepless nights when I thought about, oh, what did I do, you know? So, however, that was that, and the company changed dramatically. Another reason I left the company was that it was changing quite a bit in ways I disagreed with, so, which is another whole story. But so I really got cracking on Holy Hell, which was wound up being published by Allison Books in Los Angeles. At that time they were located, and this is and I must say, I hope the designer of this cover is not watching, but it is an uninspiring cover. It's kind of the isn't that a nice way to put it? As opposed to, you know, the suckiest cover ever. But no, you know, it's got like this blurry outline of the Detroit skyline in flames. Anyway, and damn straight wasn't all that much better. But anyway, so I wrote Holy Hell, and I'll show you the nice new covers that I have. But so I wrote it and eventually did get it published. There was a lot of back and forth. I wrote a mainstream novel. I wrote a bunch of other stuff to try to get a career going, and I wound up selling the book myself. I tried to get representation for Holy Hell because I thought it was worth you know, getting published by a publisher of note, but I just didn't you know, I had some nibbles but not any real bites for representation. So I decided I would sell it myself, and I did. And Allison Books, which was then the leading publisher for GLBT titles, picked it up, and then I published eventually 4 with them total. And then it was and okay, so here are the nice new covers that Treehouse Studios did for me. Holy Hell, 1, much better.
Mm-hmm.
Damn Straight.
What's that on the bottom? Is that a rabbit?
It's a fabulous little, yes. It's a
Okay.
see, it's a border that has a little Todd on it, which is the name of Lillian's rabbit. This is Lucky Stiff, the new cover, Lucky Stiff. These are all highly collectible, and they're all of.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well, I will take this moment to...
And this one was like 10 years. During which time many things changed in my life. One of them was I had Damn Straight, the second in this series, won a Lambda Award, and the one that won the award for lesbian mystery that year of 2003, and so I felt validated by that, and I knew that I had talent, and I wanted to get my work out to a broader audience. So, no pun intended. Broader audience. Anyway, so I wanted to do that. And I thought, well, I really need to write some mainstream stuff. And so I did, and after many trials and tribulations, by the way, the followers of my blog have been hearing all the details, all the gory details of these things. It's eSims author at blogspot.blogspot.com. Been doing it. Yes, that's correct. My lovely assistant, who will remain off camera, just reminded me of the address of my own goddamn blog. Anyway. And I feel I probably should insert some profanity and vulgarisms into this conversation because they abound in my fiction, so I might as well stay true to the school there. So in the meantime, I wanted to crack the larger market, and I did. Lots of details later, but I wound up getting a 2-book hardcover deal with one of the big six publishers in New York via an agent. Was then and now and currently I'm represented by the Donald Moss Agency. My personal representative there is Cameron McClure, who's wonderful, and I recommend her. So a mainstream book got me in the door with them, got them to look at me, and Cameron got back to me and said, I can tell you're a great writer. I'm not sure I can sell this book. What are your other ideas? So I talked to her about some other ideas. And she said, hey, I really like this one called The Actress. I think if you can write it, I think I can sell it. So I did. And this is The Actress. This is actually the new cover, brand new paperback edition. It never came out in paperback, but this is it. I also have the other 2 in the series. But they did, so I wound up with a 3-book deal. It was a 2-book deal that turned into 3 books with St. Martin's Minotaur, which was an imprint of Macmillan and still is, now one of the big 5. So that happened. And then I wound up, that whole thing, I debuted at a very difficult time for any author that was relatively unknown. The summer of 2008, horrendous economy, and a hardcover author who really didn't have a big following already was going to be in trouble, and a lot of us were. And the majority of authors who debuted in the same catalog I did became no longer with St. Martin's Minotaur. They were open to continuing, but what happened was they pulled the plug on the mass market paperback, which you have to have your mass market paperbacks if you're going to be in bookstores and if you're going to really build a following. I like to say that the hardcover gets your foot in the door, and the mass market paperback, builds your following and builds your income and your readership. So they decided not to go forward with a mass market paperback. I said this is not going to work long term, so sayonara. And then I did some other things between then and now, including working more with Writer's Digest books. Writer's Digest magazine, where I have contributed a whole bunch of articles over the past decade. And then Writer's Digest books published this You've Got a Book in You, which I consider You've Got a Book in You, a stress-free guide to writing the book of your dreams. And I consider this really my greatest contribution to the world to date.
Huh.
It has as much of my heart in it as anything I've ever done. But I had to get back to writing some fiction, and I knew that I kept hearing from readers of the Lillian Bird series, the crime series, and I said, okay, I got to write the next one. So one thing and another in left field finally came into fruition, involving between a cross-country move and seeing an aged parent through her final years and demise and many other things. But finally, Sante.
Wow. Did you have to go back and reread the books in the series before you wrote the next one? Recently?
You know, it would have been a good idea. But I sort of skimmed through them, you know, because I'd really, and it's funny how you forget stuff, you know. You forget character names, you know, especially secondary character names. You forget those things. You forget certain incidents that you wrote beautifully. You forget, you know, settings. So it is kind of funny. I had a riot writing left field. I would like actually to tell you why I chose to write a book that involves the particular sport it does.
That's what I was just going to ask you. Could you give us a little info on what the book is about? And I also have a question.
Indeed.
Since there's been so much time between the last one and this one, how much time went by in the books universe? Oh
God, yeah, that was a hard one because I actually, Holy Hell is really a bit dated. If you read some of it closely, like almost pre-computer in like the 80s, you know, excuse me, and it involved, but I you know, it got published in 2000 or 2002, I guess. Anyway, because it took all that time to write it, and you know, but it starts out being based on experiences I had as a reporter in actually in the early 80s. So. Anyway, so that was always kind of like a little bit of a thing that I kind of had to hot-foot it over, and then so then I kind of tried to catch up and compress some time between each book in that series. My hands are not really this big; they're just close to the camera. But and my nose isn't this big either. I'm looking at my little mini picture of the hen, and it makes it look like I have. Like my nose is bigger than it really is. So
no, the headset really cuts that down. That's fine.
Oh, you think? Oh, it makes the big nose look smaller. Thanks a fuckload. Okay. Yeah, score one for Rev here. Okay.
This is the wonderful personalities that you've heard about.
Well, right. Oh, indeed. There's no trading you two. I forgot the question.
We completely threw you off your game. I love it. You're talking about technology and
the amount of time that's gone by.
Oh yes, right. Oh, and then that whole thing. Yeah, I just ignored it. I just decided what I did was I started out left field being, I think I said like 2 years after the end of the prior one, and so you know people can just deal with it. You know, I'm worried about. Excuse me, about Lillian's age and about portraying her age correctly, because I don't fucking know what it is anymore, you know. So I just kind of, she is to answer a question I received today via email, hoping that I would answer it here. Someone asked, was this Tony in Texas? I can't remember. You know, is Lillian? I love Lillian so much. Is she your alter ego, or you know, how much of her is really is like you know, sort of, or how much? And she is a lot me. I fear. My other series, the Rita Farmer books. There's the Rita Farmer character who's the main character, and then George Rowe, her romantic interest. And a friend of mine who read them said, you know, I kind of see Rita and George as the yin and yang of you, and I thought that was quite perceptive, and it's real. So. The time frame is just, you know, it's just like kind of we ignore it.
Okay, I can deal with that. Before we go further, I do want to let the viewers know. But Elizabeth, we don't have any viewers. Don't worry about that. I don't want you to listen right now.
Oh, that's right.
If anybody should happen to stumble upon this while we're still going, if you would like to click on the Q&A section, there's a little button up on the top right of your screen. If you are on Google Plus watching along, please feel free to post to ask questions or post comments if you would like. that would be wonderful. And if you do not like, that is fine. You don't have to. No pressure. My hands, however, are huge.
Wow, they're really nice.
My wife likes them a lot.
All right.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's pretend I have never read anything you've ever read. And my hands are just saying. Okay. Actually, they're not too bad. Okay, so
Very nice.
what is the Lillian Bird series about?
Lillian Bird, the Lillian Bird series is about the main character, Lillian Bird, B-Y-R-D, who starts out in Holy Hell being a reporter for a small weekly newspaper. She winds up losing her job because she defends herself in a violent fashion against the boss's son, who likes to grope her. So she gets out of there. But before she's out of there, she winds up investigating, recognizing a murdered corpse, being drawn into the investigation. And so she continues forward in the 4 and 5 books total as more or less an investigative reporter for the Detroit, the weekly or the monthly magazine that is fictitious that I talk about, the Motor City Journal. So she has contacts there, and she writes for them, and she also just kind of winds up getting involved in solving things, plunging into investigating things, violence that's done to her friends. For instance, in Easy Street, one of her friends is victimized by a bad gal, and she winds up helping that friend. So she's a helping person. She never has any money. She's usually, she's very unlucky in love, I fear, but she never gives up hope. She tries, she works, she really tries to have meaningful relationships, and with varying results. In the first 4 novels, she has a beloved, wonderful, wonderful pet rabbit named Todd. And she doesn't have him. I'm trying not to give spoilers, but it's like.
You're talking somebody decided to make Hassenpfeffer?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
never
knew
mind.
you were going to go there, Andy. I knew you were going to go there.
What do you?
That's one of her favorite dishes. She can't resist.
Well, it's nice. I wish I had some to throw through the screen to you there.
I know,
Huh?
Andy's a horrible person. I don't know if you've heard that before, but Andy's a horrible, horrible person.
Oh my goodness.
I grew up cutting my teeth on Looney Tunes, so that sums up my sense of humor.
All right.
Yeah. We do actually have a question and a comment.
Woo!
Amy says we do have a viewer, but you can feel free to ignore that if you want. You can just pretend. Amy's a regular viewer. Hi, Amy. Welcome. And Amy, also, I think that you would like this series. I'm just saying. So there you go. And then Jerry wants to know, how do you plan out the plots to your mysteries?
Jerry, hi. I believe I know which Jerry you are. Good to see you here. How do I play? It really has gone in various. I've done it various ways. With Holy Hell, I had, which is the first one that got published. I had a pretty good idea of a really basic plot, a good opening, and then a basic plot from there, and I kind of really worked it out as I went. And with the subsequent books, I've gotten a bit more detailed with my pre-planning, to use a phrase that I don't like. It's planning, because it's done preliminarily. Don't get me started. So I got more and more. So the thing is with mysteries, with a mystery or suspense plot, you really need to know where you're going. You need to have some clue of where you kind of need to end up. It is certainly possible to just start blasting along and see what happens, and a number of quite accomplished authors do it that way, and not a lot, but a few that I've heard of, and they get away with it. And largely, I believe, on their strength of their talent. You have to kind of keep a lot in your head and be willing to take risks. And risk taking is a wonderful thing to do as a writer, meaning to open yourself to the possibilities, both wonderful and horrible, that might come along when you're writing. You can write yourself into a corner, you can write yourself down a blind alley, but you have to back out and go further. I will say that, and might be of interest to aspiring authors who might view this. Not that any are now, except for Jerry and Amy. But when you are, when I'll own this, when I pitched my ideas for books, for mainstream novels, to my agent, she was like, okay, the ideas are great, fabulous, you've got to rough it out. Actually, what I wound up doing was writing the whole actress, but I roughed out the plot in actually great detail. It was probably about a 20-page synopsis, single-spaced, that I wrote to send to her and get her feedback on it, saying, yeah, I think this is great, or she gave suggestions, and her suggestions were very good. And I will say also that, I'll get back to that, but. So with the Rita Farmer books, those were very much, I really had to plot them out in great detail, all three of them, because then when the second one came around, then my editor at St. Martin's wanted to know, so what's this next one going to be about? And I'm like, well, I'm halfway done writing it, but if you want to know, here's the, so. They really, when you're in the bigger time, so to speak, they really, unless you're some horrendously huge name that you can, make a deal on the back of a cocktail napkin at the Four Seasons in New York City, they really want to know a lot from you about your next project. I will mention, what was I going to mention about Cameron's input? Oh yeah, also another thing is when aspiring authors wind up getting offers of representation, and usually it's on the strength of a completed novel. If you're unknown, you really have to have a complete work under your belt to show that you can get to the end and have it be good. You will often get notes, sometimes in great detail, from your agent, from your editor, and especially if it's from your agent, either one. Notes meaning suggestions for changes, ideas for maybe something to fix something or other that they might perceive as a problem. It is one's instinct initially to say, "No, fuck you, I'm the artist here, this is my work, what are you going to tell, Van Gogh to move that crow an inch over, in the wheat field picture there?" You kind of can't be like that. You gotta, and you don't want to go the whole other direction and adopt everything they say. If you're a true artist at heart, you can't. But if you're an honest artist, you can really take, and you should take very seriously what these people tell you. Because why? Why? Because they have built a career on being able to tell strong work from weaker work.
So. Makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just want to break in real quick, and we've got a couple more comments. Let's see. Amy says, "Thank you, Sherry. I was going to ask you that. I am so stuck in a rut with reading right now." I'll just say this: that as Elizabeth was describing some of Holy Hell, I could still see it in my head from when I read it, a decade ago. So
awesome.
that may tell you something. And then Pat says, "I'm here also." Hi, Pat. Pat is also a good friend of the show. So
hi, Pat.
Welcome aboard. Now would be a good time to, Andy, you want to talk about the giveaway?
Yes, listen to this. Elizabeth Sims has offered to give one of our lucky listeners and viewers a book of her newest work. Oh, I like that. Coming in now.
It's a special effect.
There you go. There, you can do that again.
Again, you want me to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay, special effect. Okay.
Hopefully none of our
all right.
None of our viewers have epilepsy. Just saying. Okay, so woo, Lordy. So yeah, one lucky viewer is going to get a copy of the book. So we're very excited.
Yep.
Yay.
So if you're still here, and you haven't commented yet, and you want to have a shot at winning this book, type something out very quickly in that spot over there.
While you're doing that, I can read the brief synopsis
Oh, yes.
of Left Field. Would we like this?
Yes, please.
All right. Pardon me. Beg your pardon. Lillian Bird has been searching her soul after the gut-wrenching experience of killing someone in self-defense. Scrabbling to make ends meet, she takes a job as a quasi-detective, solving life's little mysteries for a pair of eccentric women in one of Detroit's last prestigious neighborhoods. When she spots a corpse on the next-door lawn, she jumps back into honest work as an investigative journalist. Her friend Mercedes, yes, it might be the Mercedes we all know and love, reveals that, or some of us, reveals that the dead woman, Abby Rawson, played on a women's softball team she manages and pressures Lillian into taking her spot. Softball turns to hardball when Lillian not only plunges into a love affair with the team's sought-after pitcher, but also goes undercover as an exterminator, a squatter, and a charity worker to investigate Abby's death and the corrupt medical organization she worked for. No one on the team is above suspicion, and as they get closer to snagging the coveted championship title, and Lillian gets closer to discovering the dark truth behind Abby's murder, she fights to keep her new love in her life and literally save her own. I might add, filled with Lillian Bird's trademark snark, nail-biting twists and turns, and a thrilling climax, Left Field scores a, wait for it, grand slam that'll leave readers cheering in the stands.
I like that.
Thank you. So I can hear the applause coming through there.
And
That's awesome.
Lillian Bird is named Jessica Fletcher.
Don't spill your popcorn. Okay.
I know, right?
So is it the dear Mercedes that
Yes.
many of us know and love? And how
Yes,
did
it is.
Mercedes end up in your book?
She ended it up because she was a generous bidder in the Golden Crown Literary Society's character auction, that I put up a character for like way too long ago. It took me a long time to get this book finished in between many other projects. I actually wrote You've Got a Book in You while I was writing this one, and that one wound up taking precedence in the release cycle. But anyway, yes, so she very nicely supported Golden Crown Literary Society by bidding on a character name, and I named the manager of the softball team after Mercedes, and she's pretty hot number, actually, in the book, and an instrumental character. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I was going to say, is it okay? Is it okay if I tell my story about how this book how I decided on the milieu for this book?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I was at Left Coast Crime, which is a conference, I guess it's a fan and writer type author conference that is held every year on the West Coast of the United States. I was there and had been asked to be on a panel discussion with 3 other authors, and this was in like something like 2008, I think. Is that right? Okay. Anyway.
The lovely assistant.
Yes. Maybe, perhaps next time she'll share the limelight with me. But she still hasn't decided about dyeing her hair, though. I said I wasn't going to say anything potentially. Oh God, I could be in the doghouse for a long time now.
We did that for nothing.
Okay, I'll just say it's all you guys' fault. Okay, so I was asked to be on this panel, and the panel was like this really kind of broad, vague, had this name of something like writing gay characters in mysteries, something like that. And so they scraped around the various attendees and found Christopher Rice, who we all might know, author in his own right and the son of the famous Anne Rice author. He and I were on the panel along with 2 other people, that both women, both of whom had written characters, had written gay lesbian characters, but who themselves were not authentically queer. Christopher and I were the only authentically queer people on the panel, and so we kind of like just hijacked this whole panel. And it was the ungodly earliest hour of these, and it was like Saturday morning, and so everybody's already gone out and gotten drunk on Friday night, and like all, you know, like 30 people who were gay at the conference showed up at this thing in this morning, and so we're like trying to move this thing along. Well, someone in the audience asked, what do gay GLBTQ readers want? What do they want? What are they looking for in the books they read? And so, you know, Chris answered something intelligent, and I said, you know, well, what they say they want and what they want are very frequently 2 different things, and I found this out. I wrote Holy Hell and I wrote Damn Straight. Now, Holy Hell is set in the underbelly of the lesbian counterculture bar scene in Detroit, and Damn Straight I set in the sporting world of the heavily closetedly lesbian-y Dinah Shore golf tournament in Rancho Mirage, California, near Palm Springs. So, and those 2 books did quite well, and so then I was given someone. Oh yeah, I would hear from readers. Who would say, "Well, we really like your books, but like maybe you could just have you know, have Lillian just be a kind of normal and not, you know, not have this heavily lesbian theme thing going on all the time. Just have her be normal and solve normal crimes." So I'm like, oh, okay. So I did that. Excuse me. Pretty much I did that for Lucky Stiff and Easy Street. Lucky Stiff, she explores her past, a terrible crime that affected her family in the past, and in the next one she helps a friend in need, to shorthand it. Anyway, so I did that, and because I'm like, okay, yeah, I won't put it in this, you know, like this major, you know, dyke milieu type of thing. Well, guess what? Those 2 books didn't do that well, and I'm like, and you know, the reviewers are saying, well, I think Elizabeth Sims has lost her way, you know, because you know, these books are not about the kind of thing that she used to write about, and you know, it's kind of screwy and kind of sucky, you know, man, you know, no, thumbs down on this book. So I'm like, fuck, you know, so I suppose take a drink here. All right.
You can't win for losing, Jesus.
I know. So I felt betrayed. What they said and what they really wanted were 2 different things. So I said in this panel, I said, so therefore, I know that my next Lillian Bird novel has got to be about softball. And
the gayest of the gay.
Yeah, you know, lesbo-centric, you know, world. And so, and I was really gratified to make Chris laugh as hard as he did. I mean, I pretty much saw the Starbucks snorting through his nose, you know. The 2 of us were the only ones on the panel that really got that, you know. So anyway, so I thought, well, yeah, you know, softball, fuck yes, that's what I'm gonna write about when I write another one. And indeed, that's what we have here.
Fantastic.
That's a good story.
We have a couple of comments. The cover, Pat says the cover's up for Goldie, and the T. Corrine First Award for cover art. Now, I need to say, what was the name of the cover artist? Who did the cover?
This is Treehouse Studios, and our friend. Now, see, like she has said that she's a little uncertain about having her pen name be associated with. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
We can talk about that off air.
Okay.
No, she's fine. She's talked about it before.
Okay,
yeah.
so Anne McMahon,
yeah.
Also a very good author in her own right.
Wait. Famous author Anne McMahon.
Famous author Anne McMahon.
Yes.
You have to get the title right.
Yes. And famous artist as well. So yes, she did a beautiful job on all those new covers, and she also did the covers for the Rita Farmer books. And was that a tangent, or was that an answer to a
No,
question?
no. When you had mentioned the name, and then it kind of caught in the back of my head. I'm like, wait a minute. I think that's Anne, and I just wanted to clarify that. And then Amy asks, is this a series that you have to read in order, or can you read them randomly? Can you read them out of order?
Oh, it is indeed not necessary to read either series in order. They stand alone.
Excellent. Okay, and that's all the questions that we have. So we have to wrap up soon, which is actually a little bit too bad because I have a feeling that we could talk with you all night long.
Yeah, right?
Well, absolutely, yes. And my lovely assistant just put a cue card in front of me that said about something about Lillian and her mandolin. What would you like me to? Oh, I'm like Lillian because in those, that's right. She has reporter, mandolin. I do play the mandolin as Lillian does. She is helpful, as am I. Well, I don't have a rabbit, but I have a rabbit story, but I don't know if we have time for that. Well, I'm not unlucky in love because my love system broke. Well, that's been back and forth in my lifetime. And I kind of lost the train here. No,
that's okay.
Not sorry. She's not sorry at all. I should play the mandolin for them, but we don't think we have time, and I don't have the mandolin anywhere nearby.
Next time.
Maybe you'll consider having me back in spite of this train wreck of an interview we've.
Oh no! You have to come back. Absolutely. Okay, so we had 3 folks who were brave enough to comment. You can either pick somebody outright.
The people that were brave. I'm giving a little.
Yes, congratulations.
All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you can either pick somebody outright, or you can pick a number because I've written their 3 names down, and so it's up to you. I don't care. However you want to go.
Okay, so I actually have. I'm a test subject in an experiment where the doctors have implanted a random number generator in my brain and my skull.
That is so helpful.
Yeah, and so all I have to do is I have to just tap the back of my head and a number will spit out of my mouth. And the number's going to be 1.
Okay, that would be Amy. So congratulations, Amy. Now you'll find out for yourself if you want, if you like it. So good, yay! And I actually have Amy's email address. So Amy, I will send that over to Elizabeth, and then she will be in touch with you for delivery arrangements.
Nice.
Yes, thank you, Amy, and thank you, other 2 lovely, wonderful people who entered, and perhaps next time.
Yep.
Luck will come your way.
Excellent. All right.
I think that's a wrap.
Yes.
Is it a okay? Well, say goodbye things and then point at me or something because I always forget to push the button. Whenever we do a video show, I have to turn it off, and I always forget.
Elizabeth.
Oh, what do you got there?
What is that?
This is a little Buddha made of blue plastic that I like to have near me when I do these things. So, thank you, little Buddha. Of blue plastic. I just wanted to introduce Little Buddha of blue plastic. Okay.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Little Buddha, for coming on.
You're welcome. The pleasure was all ours.
Thank you, Sherry, for being your wonderful self too.
Yay!
Yes. Sherry for president.
Sherry! Woo! I got control. Holy crap. Okay, that's it for now. Push the off button, Sherry.
All right. Goodbye.